And that's one of the benefits to working with a mortgage broker is
Right.
if you've got the high net worth or you've got the small business owner that, the tax returns aren't great, but the bank statements are better.
Yeah.
Having that opportunity to go and say, I've got this person, let's go check them out.
First day, you know what you're going to do. And that's what my questions to the clients are. What do you do for a living? What do you show on your tax returns? It's really just a 3-minute interview and in a nice way, and just getting to know what the people are all about and so forth. So it all starts on day one.
So working with real estate agents, as a real estate agent myself, and the relationships that I have with lenders, I've always had 2 or 3, knowing that like there's not a one size fits all relationship at least for the clients that I've worked with having a lender. And sometimes they don't mesh for whatever reason. Real estate agents struggle to find the right relationship with a lender. How do you look at the real estate agent that you choose to work with, and but also what should a real estate agent look at when they're looking for their lenders that they can work with? Because it's a partnership at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been very fortunate. I have a very long and deep relationships with real estate companies, being their in-house lender, and also with a lot of real estate brokers, CPAs, and clients. And it goes back to the same thing as I said before. It's just communication, being available, and the brokers, they all have my cell phone, and I don't mind in the evenings or weekends. And and I developed a nice rapport with a lot of people, but it's the communication, and same thing, knowledge, honesty, and just being effective in what you do. Because I can be the nicest guy, but if I don't do something right or whatever, it's all for naught. So you gotta be efficient and effective.
And don't miss that loan contingency day.
That's right, yeah. And if you say, hey, I need an extra day or whatever, and people are usually fine. They just communicate. That's all you gotta do. It's really pretty simple.
And so with that communication is, one of those things that I think is a pivotal component to the industry, to at least have a successful transaction, because it's such a relationship-based thing and there's so much going on. How do you think agents and lenders can collaborate more effectively to create smoother transactions?
Communicate and just feel comfortable that with myself as a lender, that I'll be able to successfully negotiate each step. And I have a lot of brokers that I've done work with for years, and they barely even call me. It's like, just let me know how it's going, and just no calls. And other ones, that's perfectly fine. Newer people will ask more questions. It depends on the person's personality, but I'd say the vast majority of the people I do work with have extreme confidence in me. And like you said, though, not everybody sees eye to eye on certain things. So not everybody's in love with Mark Cohen. Do the kind of volume I have, everybody gets the attention at the end of the day, and nobody will say that. But I am quick, and I'll be on the phone for like 2 minutes and say, I'll get back to you. And I do get back. So I always follow through on what I say, even at the end of the day, and say, I'll call you back. But you've got to find somebody who you can connect with as a friend, as a business person.
You closed 800 loans or close to that last year?
Something like that, yeah.
What do you think? What's your average approval time frame?
Just depends. If we do the agency paper loans, it's like 3 days. And I can tell us, like, I've done enough loans, I know if a deal's going through or not. There's a lot of deals that say, they're not. I just did a deal, it was a $21 million sales price, it was 75% loan. And it took like 30 days to get the deal through. The client gave like $10 million to this bank. But he was a wealthy guy, but it's like 10, 12 days, but it's for official approval, but I can tell you in 1 second it's going through. It's real simple. Look at the credit report, tax returns, and if we can't use tax returns, you look at bank statements. You can just tell. I mean, it's really not really an art, but you have to know that the thing that separates myself from other people is that I know the nuances. There's obviously always but there's a situation. Well, I've only been in my job for 9 months. I started this business, a year ago. Can we use the income? So that's the thing.
No,
where I can't. That's the thing that differentiates me from the bigger banks. I have a lot more flexibility, and if it doesn't work at one, I can maneuver things around real quickly. That's where my big advantage is over the big box banks or other mortgage brokers who really, I've taken just in the last few days, just deals from this, other people were just slow and not reacting and not communicating with people well. So it goes back to what I've said before.
Communication.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, when you run into a bump in the road with the loan, I've always had, as a selling agent or the listing agent, it was always important to have that agent that I trusted, that I knew could come in as, come and save the deal. Just as much as the pre-qualification and, getting that cross-qualification when somebody was there. And it was one of those pivotal parts for me to make sure that I knew that this person could read the file and be like, no, this isn't going to get done. Don't give him the extra time on the deal.
Very important.
It's worth the cancellation, which sucks as a seller to have the cancellation, but it's also just as bad to have another 10 days.
Waste more time. Yeah. So that's very true. What you're saying are all very, very valid points. People have to feel comfortable with you. And being in the business for so long, most of the agents know me, and when I go into other areas that I haven't really done too much work for, it takes a little more time to get people's confidence and trust. But the great thing is, there's a lot of information on everybody, so you can read reviews and so forth.
So the real estate market's fairly competitive, no matter where you're at.
Sure.
The buyers are always trying to have a leg up on another one. What's the best piece of advice that you can give to either a buyer or to the buyer's agent to help them have a better advantage? Like, I've always thought the lender needs to follow up, and I CC the lender on the initial email with the offer, so they can reach out to the listing agent and, talk about how qualified the buyer is.
I get lots of calls from listing agents about clients who made offers, and I've given pre-approval letters on their behalf. So they'll ask, and I'll be forthright and say that person's solid, the deal will go through, and I'll give the reasons why. You just can't give a blanket statement. You have to give, without getting details, person's income is ratios with this, and the credit score is high enough, and we verified the liquid assets, and most times you show that anyway when you give a pre-approval letter anyway, you show or when you make an offer. So you just have to be confident and show that you're knowledgeable in what you do.
Yeah. Okay, a couple fun questions. Coffee or tea?
Well, believe it or not, I've had one cup of coffee in my life.
Wow. So how do you stay caffeinated?
I drink iced tea, but it has its own inherent problems sometimes. So iced tea, but I got off that because the thing that's the killer for me is the not great for the weight, or anything else is the sweet and low, which goes with it, which is not good.
So talking about transactions, deals often fall apart because of financial issues. What are the red flags that agents can see ahead of time when they're like identifying which offer to accept, or even in the transaction, you see the red flags of what's coming up? How do you work with your lender to overcome those, or not get into the situations to begin with?
The first thing to do is to know the file well, and to look at and take the time out, the 30 minutes, and go through the files and make sure that they meet all the guidelines or what you're trying to accomplish. Know if you're first thing is credit score, what people do for a living, how long they've done it for, how are we going to do the deal? Are they self-employed? We're going to show tax returns or no tax returns. So you got to have a game plan for here on out. So I'm not going to submit a loan to a bank where they're not going to qualify based on tax returns. So it eliminates half the place that you work with. So you go to what's called a non-QM lender, non-qualified lender for self-employed people, where you'll qualify on bank statements instead of tax returns. Because out here in Southern California, and especially on the west side, a lot of people are self-employed. You're not going to show what you make. So if you show bank statements, it's a much more liberal and aggressive underwriting policy, which works out great. So you have to know what you're looking for beforehand.
And that's one of the benefits to working with a mortgage brokers,
Right.
if you've got the high net worth or you've got the small business owner that, the tax returns aren't great, but the bank statements are better.
Yeah.
Having that opportunity to go and say, I've got this person, let's go check them out.
I get a lot of business from friends of mine that work at major banks and we interchange loans, but hey, we can't, this person has qualifying tax returns. We can qualify bank statements because none of the major banks do those types of loans.
It's okay. They end up with it on the secondary market anyways.
Yes. So it's just going through the file and devising a game plan. You can't wait 2 weeks. Just first day, know what you're going to do. And that's what my questions to the clients are. What do you do for a living? What do you show on your tax returns? It's really just a 3-minute interview and in a nice way, and just getting to know what the people are all about and so forth. So it all starts on day one.
What's one thing that you wish real estate agents understood better about the mortgage industry?
I think the biggest misconception is for a lot of agents as well, it's so easy to get a loan. But agents now are much more sophisticated in understanding, especially the newer ones, or the seasoned ones, I should say, because they've been through the trials and tribulations. So they just need to know that it takes knowledge and a professional to get these deals through, especially more complicated ones. And people respect that.
What's one thing that you could tell Mark Cohen from 20 years ago as a piece of advice?
Just do the same thing that I was doing 20 years ago. Because I've kept that from day one. So knowledge, being professional, being friendly, and showing an interest in people, and being available. Just being like your friend, just being available. Mm-hmm. I'm not friends with all my clients, and far from it. But just having a good professional relationship goes a long way.
For agents looking to level up their business.
Level up in what context?
Just level up. How do I do more? Sell bigger houses, sell more houses. Do more. What's the piece of advice that you can give me as an agent on working with a lender and understanding and leveraging the mortgage industry and like those strategic partnerships?
I think I've created a lot of value for a lot of real estate brokers that I'm friends with. Not that they're getting a lot of business from me personally, but able to get deals through, make their clients satisfied, and you have happy clients that refer back to myself and to the agent. So it's who you do work with, and it's really important, and it's a teamwork effort by both agents, listing agent, buyer's agents, and the broker. So having close relationships, and on their personal side, being professional to their clients and friendly, and just indirectly asking for business and doing a good job. And if you do that, then you can increase your business, and obviously working with the right people.